Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Coming down, does he have it? He's going to get it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to the Sim Racing for Simpletons League, Round 6, live from Spa-Francorchamps in the Formula 3 Series. My name is Chris PBJ Hannigan, joined alongside Mr. Dean Biggles. Good afternoon, Dean.
Good afternoon. How are you doing here this evening?
Very good, very good. Looking forward to some F3 action here from Spa-Francorchamps from the Simpletons Racing League. Obviously a legendary track. Big track for these F3 cars. Takes more than 2 minutes to do a lap. We are currently in qualifying at about 10 minutes to go as our drivers work their way around, trying to set the starting grid for round 6 of their championship. Speaking of that championship, Biggles, can we take a look at the championship standings to run through where we are in this series? David Holland continuing his dominance. I think he's got 4 of the 5 wins so far this series, currently leading 115 points. Mackenzie Roon, second place, 98 points. Not too far behind, still in the fight, but then look at the fight for P3. Kiko, Ridgeway, Long, Whitfield, everybody within just a few points of each other as we get ready for the race here today. It looks like, did they advance earlier or am I just out of place here?
What just went pretty quickly through that one, exactly. So sorry about the graphic location there that did come up in that situation, because when that's just a little iRacing thing that happens. So
here we are. We're in the race already. Let's jump right in. David Holland is on pole, your championship leader. He's going to start alongside David Whitfield, Mackenzie Roon, Carson Keene P4, Andy Jagger P5, Robert Widgway P6, Peter Hedvig P7, Elise Kiku in P8, Brian P5, Guy Kalu in P10. So Spa-Francorchamps action here. And F3 as we get ready to form the grid and start this race. I'm going to jump right into it here, Biggles.
We will be, absolutely, as they are lining up on the grid.
Everybody's lining up on the grid there. And we're going to take the run down to La Source. Obviously a long track for these Formula 3 cars. And a lot of action that can happen all the way around. You got to get through La Source, then go up through Radillon, Eau Rouge, up the Camel Straight toward Lacombe. That's where we'll probably see some big overtakes. If you survive La Source, once you survive La Source, you should be on your way. Get into your rhythm. 21 laps here today in the Simpletons Racing League. We get ready to start this race.
And there's no way I can get rid of that graphic that's up on the screen, so I do apologize. But we'll just do our best to see how it's going to pan out.
Biggles working away, plugging the keyboard as hard as he can to make that work. There he goes. He found a way. I knew he would. That's perfect. So we're on the grid. Drivers getting lined up. Going to start right into the action here. David Holland, Daniel Whitfield on pole. Or excuse me, David Holland on pole. David Whitfield P2 as the lights come up. Biggles. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights for the Simpleton Racing. Lights out. Drop the clutch. Here we go. Looks like Holland's going to get a good start. Whitfield does not get a good start. It's going to let Rune come up the inside. He's also under threat there from Keene, I believe. He's going to go 3 wide through the source. Let's see if they all make it through the other side. No, they do not. Cars up on top of each other. A couple guys getting together there. Can't really tell who that was at the moment. Looks like it may have been Jagger was involved there. Dropped back a little bit. Got to move for La Source here. It's going to be Rune's going to stick it on the outside of La Source. Or excuse me, Rune. What am I talking about? They head up the Kimmel Straight. Now Rune under threat from Whitfield here down the long back straightaway. Whitfield's going to take a move up the inside. Can he get there by the time they get to Lacombe? He's there. He's going to think about it, and he's going to back out and settle into P4.
Yeah, but Robert in the background there. Brian Long also going at it too for now as they come out of Lacombe and then down into Pouhon, and so it's going to be a 3 abreast as well too, as we still see lap 1. Lots of action, lots of battles. These F3 series does produce fantastic results. You can see the livery there. He's on board Robert Ridgway. You've got Brian Long behind him currently at the moment. The leader, the boss man in the Simpletons Racing for Simpletons. Racing. I'll get through that one anyway. Help me out here.
Here we go, down through Pouhon, one of the best corners on Spa. I'm sure it's flat. This is at least the second part of these Formula 3 cars. Here you go. Brian Long currently under threat from Kiko here. Kiko peeks a nose in. Long's going to run a little bit wide there. Kiko's still in the rear bumper here, going to try to stay in the slipstream as they go through Stavilo, down through turn 16, onto the back straightaway here. The other back straightaway, I guess, the run up toward Blanchimont and to the chicane to finally complete lap 1. Again, long lap here at Spa. Very historic track, lots of history here. Of course, running the layout from the last 30 years or so that doesn't quite include the one through the hills and through the villages, but Kiko taking a little peek there. Oh, that was Keene. I apologize. That was Keene taking a peek on the leader there. Just trying to get in his mirrors a little bit, not really threatening a move there. Just trying to get in the mirrors, trying to just get in the head a little bit from Hollands. That's what you have to do. Holland obviously dominating this league, trying to go for win number 5 and continue to pull out that championship lead. Speaking of the championship, P2 of the championship is going to be Mackenzie Rune. Having a good run there in P3. Let's take another look at the start here, Biggles.
Yeah, here we go. It's a little bit of a slower version of it, but have a look at Peter Eving here. Peter Vetting as everybody goes into La Source, and there's just a little bit of a contact from behind, and that does cause a couple of other little cars to go off to the sides and to the left. I think it's Andy Yeager that he had a crash with. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think Peter got the worst of that one. I don't think he intended to stick a nose in there. He saw a little bit of a lockup going in, but he was there, and unfortunately, Andy Yeager here just got punted, and man, I think he dropped back quite a bit as well. So rough start for Peter and Andy there. They're going to have their recovery drive here at Spa. Meanwhile, back up front, you've got David Holland continuing to hold about a second gap over P2 Carson Keene. Nice battle here for P10. This is toward the back of the grid, but Andy Zeich.
Yeah, we're looking at the replay, unfortunately. I can't get it back to the live pictures. This, as you can see, it says broken again. So do apologize about that. There was overtakes happening at the moment here between these two drivers, and unfortunately we can't show it, so it's breaks.
So while Biggles works that out, we're going to look at this, watch this replay here. Nice battle for P10. Watching the live timing from the live broadcast as well, though, you do have the Holland still leading about a half a second. Mackenzie Rune starting to make a run on P2 here. About half a second back, closing in. And SDK do SDK things. Nice little move into Pulhan there. Wow. I think that was Joel Dutton getting by Andy Zyke there, but Zyke's going to try to make the run back up to turn 13, 14. The campus corners here, campus chicane. Zyke gets the move completed back. Nice switcheroo from both those drivers there. One going into Pulhan, one going back into the campus chicane. Very respectful, lots of room given between those two drivers. And therefore they both get to continue on their way. So continuing to watch Carson Keene here. Carson Keene trying to run down P2. It's like Biggles got the SDK restarting in the background here, so we'll keep an eye on this action while we have it. As Carson Keene continuing to make a run here on Mackenzie Rune. Up toward La Source, completing, I believe, lap number 2 at this point. Drivers kind of worked themselves single file, finally got into their rhythm, got into their space. That's what you want to do as a racing driver here. You want to get, we go back to live action. Thank you, Biggles. Man of the hour, continuing to get the job done, working through the gremlins. Thank you, sir. Sorry about the disconnect there for a minute, folks, but we are back live action, and thankfully, it looks like we are right where we left it. Carson Keene continuing to run down Mackenzie Rune for P2 here, about a half a second back. Meanwhile, David Holland is checking out down the road, already 1.6 seconds away. But joining this battle for P2, you've also got Daniel Whitfield here, and he is joining within a second of Keene in P3.
Yep, we are back at lap 3 of 21. You can see the battle between Keene and Whitfield. Where's the Whitfield family out there? Usually in the chat. There's Daniel currently at the moment. He's dropped a couple of places since the start, but he's putting the pressure on. We still have Mr. Holland leading there from Mackenzie Rune. And P1 and P2. I won't be able to go back and show those replays anymore, unfortunately, because I had to do a little bit of a hard reset of the software. But there is Mackenzie Rune still big. And Mr. Carson.
Sometimes that's what you need. You got to unplug it, plug it back in, get it going. We saw the replay at the start, though, so I think we are well covered as we got this battle now really heating up. Carson Keene all over the back of Mackenzie Rune, the American versus the Canadian, as we head to the chicane to complete lap number 3. I think Keene's got the pace here. He's just got to get in the slipstream to get the move done. Maybe up the Camel Straight, up toward Lacombe. Depends on the run he gets here out of La Source. Looks like he's really gaining time through the fast corners. I know these cars are all running fixed setups in this league, so I don't expect any real difference in the configurations of the car, but sometimes driving style plays a big part of that. You know, you let the car roll a little bit better than the guy in front of you, but when you get too close, you start losing some of that downforce on the front wings. Here we go, up through La Source. Oh my gosh, did it again. Up through Eau Rouge and Radillon, up the corner. I keep calling that La Source. You need to stop doing that. He's got the slipstream. He's got the toe. I think this is going to be a move for P2 here, Biggles. It's like Carson Keene's going to look to the right side. Mackenzie Rune on the outside. Is he going to get there? Who's going to break the latest into Lacombe? It's going to be Carson Keene's going to take P2. Mackenzie Rune's going to sweep in behind, settle into P3. Now, can he stay with him and get the run back, maybe? I don't know. Looks like Carson just has that pace. We'll keep an eye on it here through the next few corners. Working lap number 4 now. This race already flying into this race, moving quite quickly.
Yep, it is, and that's classic overtake down the Camel Straight and getting the job done in the right place at the right time, and see whether or not Mr. Rune's going to do something about it. As Shayla Whitfield out there just wanted to say happy birthday to Dan. It's Dan's birthday today. Dan is currently running in P4, just lurking in the background there. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Dan Whitfield. 64 machine as he's getting it on with. He's just dropped a couple of places, but don't you worry about it. Birthday boy will have a bit of birthday bonus coming in a little bit later on that one. He's certainly got the family bonus to go, but that battle's still brewing at the moment. As you can see, Mackenzie Rune looking to do something about it, because Carson Keene is definitely keen to make his way up the field at the moment, and Brian and Mod Kiko, of course, are still at it again. Look out for Mod. She starts to perform quite well as she gets further and further into this. More of a race results driver than a qualifier. I should stop saying that about her. She's going to be like, Biggles, I'm starting to get better and
Look
better.
at the battle for P2. Man, they ran that really wide. Carson Keene trying to defend so hard against Mackenzie Rune here. And what just happened here? I think Carson missed the chicane. I think Carson completely missed the final chicane, took a slowdown. Now he's going to lose 2 spots for that. Whitfield's going to take the position, move up to the podium spots. What a birthday present for Daniel that would be to get the P3. Hate to see it for Carson. Now he's going to lose so much time. I think he might hopefully got a good exit out of La Source there to get the run down the hill. But yeah, I think it looked like Carson maybe missed the final chicane under that pressure. We saw the battle heading into that chicane. Therefore, all the extra speed, you may be off the line a little bit, kind of get in your head, miss your braking point. Next thing you know, you go straight through the curb, miss the chicane, and have to lose 2 spots. Not what you want to see there if you're Carson. So
it's very punishing.
Settle
isn't
in.
it?
Yeah, you got to clear the head and get back into it and get back into your rhythm and see what you can do. So,
well, they got time. Do have time. 17 laps to go. Yeah, that's the general. I mean, imagine if they did that to real life F1 every time somebody went off the track a little bit and had to give them a slowdown. Oof, when you hear the team radios complaining tooth and nail. But guess what? In the iRacing simulation world, well, the computer knows exactly, or the program knows exactly when you have gone a little bit too naughty and cutting the chicanes. Sometimes the only problem with that, of course, is that if you had to do that, you had to avoid an accident or something like that. Fortunately, the game doesn't really recognize it that way. But that's something for the stewards later. At this point, it wasn't. It was just, I don't have a replay of that, unfortunately, but it just seemed to be a little bit of a driver error, as you said.
yeah, I think this came in hot in the chicane there. You know, honestly, I'd be surprised if F1 isn't too far away from having automatic everything. I did see I saw a video from the F1 channel a while back about how they were testing automatic track limit violations with sensors in the cars and everything, and they line the track with certain spots, and if the car crosses it, bam, you get a penalty. Or you get a warning or whatever the penalty may be. But I think we're not far from that kind of stuff, Biggles, and it's.
Well, they have trialed it before, and it got a huge amount of complaints from the teams.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did, because they probably get away from so much now. Just people not just either missing it or looking down at their notebook, and that's the other thing that cracks me up. You ever see the drivers and they come in and they get their weights on the scale? You still got the little guy with the little notepad and writing it down on pen and paper and putting it in. So it's F1's a funny sport with all the money and all the technology. You still got good old fashioned pen and paper and some bathroom scale you got to stand on. So it's good to go. But
well, the pitboard guys too, remember as well. The guys and girls hold those pitboards out there of the drivers.
That's right.
You cannot see in the simulator anybody doing that. You need the naked eye, whether they look at that or not. That's just if the communications and stuff like that fail. I mean, that's old school, isn't it? I mean, these days the communications don't really fail too much. You might lose the drink or something like that, Kimmy reckon. But generally,
Kimmy always loses the drink, it seems like. Speaking of losing the drink, he might be losing the slipstream here. Carson Keene is he hasn't dropped back, but he's not really gaining in the last lap. I mean, he looks like Whitfield's kind of doing a good job holding on to P3. Look, Carson throws it into Lacombs here. Look at this. He just closed up quite a bit there, but Daniel's going to pull away on the exit. These two look pretty equally matched here at the moment, going through the at least the Lacombe complex. Let's watch him here through the Brussels hairpin, and then through one of my favorite no-name corners here, which iRacing can be very tricky. There's a nice little off-track right about there if you get it just right. But I'm sure in the hosted sessions, off-tracks don't really mean a whole lot. Unless it comes into the stewarding equation later, we'll have to see. But Poolhone, great corner. Look how wide Whitfield went up ahead. Went all 4 wheels off the track. You don't want to lift once you get back on the loud pedal there, so you stay on it, run through, and then you run through this nice campus chicane complex. Very fast chicane. I'm a fan of these type of corners. You can't even really call it a chicane. It just goes left and right, but it is very fast. And then they go through these final 2 corners here, 15, 16, onto the old track where it used to rejoin there from the left side right there and up the hill toward Blanchimont. And these cars, these cars are obviously not the Formula 1 cars, Formula 3 cars, so a little bit less horsepower, a little bit less downforce, a little bit smaller engines, but man, all the driver commitment still needed through these corners. And I think these cars are just so much fun to drive, Biggles. A little bit of downforce, slide the cars around a little bit still.
Yeah.
Throw it in the chicane here.
You're right,
get
Chris.
The power down.
Yeah, you can see right there. That's where you get the power down crucially out of the final corner into the bus stop and then up into 4th gear. You can see. This is, unfortunately, the iRacing. I'd love to see them update these actually to more of the modern Formula 3s, because these modern Formula 3s you can have the DRS activation and stuff like that too. But they are super fun to drive. That's why these leagues are very popular as well too for the F3s. We know about the F1s. We just finished casting another F1 series, but they are just so difficult to drive. But they're supposed to be the most difficult cars, aren't they, to drive, because it's a pinnacle of motorsports. But more than anything at the moment, Dan the man needs to keep this man behind him of Carson Keene.
Here he comes. He's got the run on the outside up toward Lacombe here. That's a hard way to do the pass. You got to get all the way around the car in front of you. I don't think he's got all the way around. They're going to be side by side in. He goes in anyway. Wow. Dan Whitfield had to get on the brakes right there, concede the position. He's got to be too careful there. He's got Ridgeway coming up, or excuse me, he's got Oh, that was Keen. I apologize. I was one driver off there on the side. So that was Keen getting past Whitfield. And, yeah, all three of these guys still very, very close to each other.
Look at the way Keane's throwing the car around too for now. Like, just really just chucking it into every corner there and hoping the car's going to stick. It did. But he hasn't dropped Dan specifically so much because by throwing that car around, he's got to be chewing through those tires too and everything else. And I think Dan was pretty good to not put up too much of a fight on that one because he's still hanging in within a second and just under a second.
Yeah. I wonder, is there tire fall off here in 21 laps? Is that going to be a concern by the end of this race, you think?
Yep, it will be. Meaning how hard you're pushing that car. Absolutely, for sure. These are high speed, remember, in Spa, 7-kilometer track. High speed corners as well, too. We'll scrub those tires, too, for now. So that'll be something that we're looking for. And obviously, Mr. Holland with a 4-second gap up the road there, he can take care of it, but he never does. I know this is your first time broadcasting this league, my friend, but in the past, yeah, he pushes that car. He'll get fastest laps probably as you get down to the dying stages of it. But you can see Dan's still hanging in there at the moment. We're still seeing Mod try to do something about Brian Long, the boss. Joe Dutton there in hanging back behind his teammate there of Guy. But more than anything, yes, we'll see whether or not Dan the man can always keep it, say, within DRS range, but unfortunately they don't have the DRS. But he's hanging in there, birthday boy.
Yeah, a track like this, DRS range is basically the equivalent of staying in the slipstream because you want to get that slipstream down the back straightaway. A couple good battles here on track so far. Yeah, Whitfield trying to keep up with Keen, and what you said makes a lot of sense with the tires too. I wonder if the way you see Keen just throwing his car into these corners, especially these fast chicanes, and might burn those tires off. Maybe Whitfield has a chance to come back here later in the second and third stage of this race. But he's staying with him, staying on that slight slipstream down these long straightaways. And but now Keen is getting a little bit of a slipstream off Rune in front of him as well. The driver's working hard here, staying on that wheel. Nice clean input. Oh, as soon as I say that from Whitfield, a little bit of overcorrection there on the output, on the exit of the Lacombe complex there. A little bit of smoke from a lockup. Maybe that was Rune up ahead. A little bit of lockup going into the Brussels hairpin there, but I wonder how much Keen may have damaged his tires going into that chicane. I know we didn't see a replay of it. Maybe he had a lockup going in there, but if he's scrubbing his tires now, burning the tires to incidents like that, I mean, got to keep them for the end. So nice battle here from Kiko and Long, making a run here.
Yeah, I don't want to go back and show those replays, unfortunately, because it did break the system just before, so I'm not going to risk it with the biscuit for now. So unfortunately, we'll just scrap that replay system so that we do have the live pitches and keeping up live battles here for the sim racing for Simpletons. As you can see, my Kiko now, she's on the back there of the boss man, Brian D. Long. It's crucial in the championship too for both these drivers to get as maximized points. I mean, David Holland's just out of touch, isn't he? I mean, this 6.1 KI rating. And no surprises there, but you have to say the rest of those drivers keeping up, especially Rune, P2, and Daniel, more than anything, birthday boy. Like he's the only one of the only drivers that are barely breaking the 2K I rating. Well, we all know that that's I rating's just like a bunch of numbers, but goes to show you different in class at the moment. And here we go, opportunities. We're right on board currently at the moment with Mud.
Kiko's all over the back here. I think she's going to want to make a move maybe up to Lacombe here, but yeah, I rating's one of those interesting things, Biggles. I mean, it means something if it's a big number. Otherwise, it doesn't really mean much, right? A lot of these drivers, at least some of the ones I'm familiar with, right, they run leagues only, so their I rating doesn't really change because they don't run official sessions. But I rating goes up if you run the races. So obviously Holland's got the big I rating of the group here, and he's pulling away and asserting that that skill level that he has with his I rating. So he's going to continue to pull away. It looks like as Rune is now almost 5 seconds behind. But meanwhile, about a lot closer than 5 seconds here. Kiko making the move here on Long, going to get that slipstream. Is Long going to defend? No, he's going to stay to the left. Kiko's going to look up the right. She's there. Long backs out. Kiko has enough room to get back in front for the corner. Long putting up no defense there. Further back, you got Dutton here trying to make a move on Kalu.
Looks like the teammates, aren't they, from the Desperado? It says Desperado.
Desperado,
yeah.
If I read it right when it went by.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a little bit of an Alfa Romeo, old school Ferrari-esque. You could see like it was like a center helmet there as well too. But there's the guy.
It's a very, very classy livery. I like the classy liveries.
There it is. Get Desperado.
Gold.
The gold label. Tequila.
Tequila. Like it. There he is. Making a run, getting some TV time for the sponsors. Always good to see. Good looking race car. Good looking line through Poolhan there. As
the teammates
just have a moment?
Around.
I saw something
yes,
flashed
he did.
up with Keen there.
Keen absolutely did. He's gone off track a little bit of a moment there. So, we're riding on board with Keen. Keen had a little bit of a moment.
Maybe
actually.
went off the track there down toward Stavilo, turn 15-16. The very high-speed corners that lead onto the second long back straightaway up to the chicane. But didn't lose a lot of time here, but definitely didn't close in. But he's closing in right now as soon as I'm talking about him. Look at the gaps down under a second.
Look at that. You can see him, can't you? You can see Rune, you can see Keen, you can see Whitfield, you can see Ridgeway all down the main straight. You didn't see Holland because he's already gone through there after set the fastest lap on the last lap at 11.14, making that gap to 5.7 currently in the moment. But this is your hot zone on the track, and even though you can see there's a couple seconds separated between them, it is certainly a good little battle between Keen as we saw you got Rune go up through Eau Rouge. And once again, as Kiko's made her way through, so you've got Brian, still tagging Brian Long on there, and Mr. Dutton, and he wants to be his teammate. They're about 7 seconds to change down the road there from Mr. Long. This is where it's at.
I'm surprised the gap that's formed between P1, P13. Obviously, there was some incidents there on the start, but the field has really spread themselves out here over Spa in quite a large distance. So, do you think it maybe just goes to the skill level, some of the lines, some of the different strategies some of these drivers may be playing? You see Keen here just hugging the inside there of the Brussels hairpin, using every bit of road. Yeah, good view from these F3 cars, man. I the non-halo just takes me back to some older days that you see now, but it seems like you got so much.
Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
No, it seems like you just got so much visibility. Everything's there. Obviously, aside from the huge antenna.
I was about to say the radar antenna that's in the way. I mean the radio antenna. Come on, just polish it to the side a little bit. But yeah, of course. I'm not quite sure. I've never. Massive snap of oversteer from Carlson.
Pushing that car right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's maybe something that the drivers could remove on their screens. I don't know. I'm a racing driver. I don't know if you are aware of that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think you can, actually. I think you can move the halo, but some of those things, like those antennas and things, are just there. So it's not too bad, though. I'm sure you kind of look around it and you kind of work your way around. Some of these driver view settings can be tweaked a little bit, too. You can manipulate where your head is actually in the cockpit if it becomes too big of an issue. But, yeah, anyway, Keen running down Rune. Here we got a nice battle between Dutton and Calo again. They're going to keep battling out here back for P number 8. Oh boy, up toward the chicane here.
And to lift off big time through Blacksmont.
Gonna make a move to the chicane. He's gonna look on the outside, threaten to move, kind of back out early, give him the spot, maybe try to regroup us down the Camel Straight. Yeah, no DRS on these cars. You gotta do it the old-fashioned way, right? You gotta use old slipstream and logic to get past everybody. And it's a challenge. I mean, it takes, when you take DRS out of the equation, you got to count on corner exits so much more. You got to count on momentum so much more. So let's watch the exit here out of La Source. Let's see what kind of run he gets. It wasn't great. It wasn't as good as Kalou in front of him there, but it's such a long run down the corners. Check out through Eau Rouge, through Radion here. Gonna take a quick left, hard to the right. Up the hill, over the crest. He's got the run. He's got the slipstream. I think we're going to have a move here on the straightaway here. Biggles down the Camel Straight. He's going to go to the left side around the outside. Trying to keep the momentum up the hill. These cars screaming on the RPMs on the engines. I don't think he's going to back out of it.
Yep.
Said, nope, we're not going to do it here. We're not going to try to make that move on the outside.
But meanwhile, Brian did. So Brian did, once again, I don't want to risk it for the biscuit with those replays, unfortunately, but Brian down that, it looked like Camel Straight as well on that same situation into Lacombe. He did the overtake actually on Mod Kiko, so they're back at it again, these two, which is fantastic. Both those drivers, you can see, gained a couple of positions each. Carlson Keen still just hanging in there on Rune, and about 4 seconds of change. But now you'd have to say Robert's starting to bring in the birthday boy here. So Daniel Whitfield's gonna have to do some defensive driving. Daniel's done some fantastic defensive driving this season, but he's got to do more and more of it right now to hold off Mr. Robert Ridgway.
Ridgway's got a huge run there. out of Stavilo up the hill. He's going to try to go to the inside. What a move right there. Oh, my gosh. I think they actually touched a little bit right there. That could have been a plane crash and a half for both those drivers. Super high speeds, but straightaway still going. Maybe make a move on the outside here in the chicane, side by side. Ridgeway is going to send it on the outside of Whitfield here. Can he keep the corner there? No, he's got to concede. But where did Whitfield?
Well,
did Whitfield go?
I don't know.
He pitted. Whitfield went to the pits.
Yeah, Whitfield went to the pits, so he's got his pit stop over and done with. Didn't want to be a part of that fight for now and see whether or not that undercut will pay off. That'll be interesting to see. Would it be great to see them go at it a little bit more for a lap or two, but then again, they have to get those pit stops over and done with, so find out.
There you go. I mean, you said it earlier. This is my first Simpleton race. Are these cars under fuel? Do they have to pit?
You have to pick. You have to box.
Well, there we go.
Pit stop, so they're getting it done with.
There you go. Smart move by Whitfield there to go ahead and make the pit stop, get out of the traffic, because you're just going to lose more time trying to battle the other car. He comes out. It's like right behind. Comes out sink there. Yeah. So he's going to get a little bit of
coming back on
slipstream.
Brian here. Down the camel straight. I knew this two are going to be at it too for now. It's going to be fun. Actually, great friends.
I don't think she's going to keep it, though, because, oh, man, Long just sent it back up the inside.
As well as these
another
two
side-by-side.
I mean, I thought they were racing there. And Daniel in the background as well. Going to be witnesses coming fresh out of the pit stop. So he'll take that position. He needs to. Doesn't want to lose too much time. And there it is. Birthday boy. He swings it around to the outside off Canberra corner and gets it done. So it's crucial for Daniel now to put in some banker laps there. The shoey-esque laps that used to be back in Formula 1, of course, after those pit stops. That's when you get it done on your out laps and your in laps. Still continue
Daniel, great job there getting around the traffic and not losing any time here. But yeah, Mod Kinko here is still, man, she's doing a great job putting the pressure on. She can't quite close the deal though, unfortunately. I mean, it seems like I thought she had it last lap, but then Long just sent it into Lacombe and said, absolutely no, ma'am, not right now, not going to happen. But Kinko's still over the back. I mean, I don't know. Do you take the pit stop here? Do you get out of the traffic? Because obviously she's losing time overall, especially with those battles up the hill. But
I don't know. I mean, realistically, strategically, you should, because you can see she's definitely having to lift off a little bit there. You can see the rev limiter. See, it's not really just capping it completely, dropping off, and then you drop it all the way back down to second.
You're losing time right here.
The bus stop chicane here. Now swing it around to the left, get on the gas pedal. The real slide a little bit. You can see Brian put the power down earlier. And I think at the same time, when you do box, you're going to be taking that fun away, isn't it? Wheel racing. That's what it's all about.
That's a good point, too. Depends on what you're here for. If you're here to have a race, or here to get the finishes, or a little bit of both. We'll see. So I mean, Kinko's here. She's still got it. I mean, she's still in the range to get through. I almost did it again. Eau Rouge again.
Carson now as well.
Oh, Carson's there. There goes Rune's going to go defensive, way defensive. Can Keen throw it around the outside? He's going to try. Rune's not going to give it up, though. Rune's going to keep the nose in, not quite ready to concede the position. Oh, man, Keen's squeezing. I think Rune had to back out there just a little bit, but Rune's not done yet. Rune's going to try to send it back up here through Brussels. Can he get that? Oh, a little bit of contact there. I think the front wing, maybe a little net code or something. That was super close. Rune's going to fall back. Did not make that pass easy, but Keen got the move done. Great racing between these two.
It is fantastic. Whether they're going to do anything about bus stop, and that's also a thing. Who's going to be jumping in the pit road? That's a pretty wide exit there from Carson Keen. And I'm just going to stick with this.
The track.
Yeah, got to stick with this battle for a little bit, because there's other battles brewing at the background, as you can see, for P10, P9, and remember, some of those drivers are still yet to make pit stops. Daniel Whitfield, remember the birthday boy, he's currently in P7. He's the only driver on the grid that's made a pit stop already, an early one. We'll see if it's a strategic one or not, as we're still seeing this battle between Mackenzie Rune and Carson Clean. They're going for it too for now. Let's ride on board right now with Mackenzie Rune, the 11 machine. As he's setting up the inside here. Can he get it done? This is down into Blutchmont and into the bus stop chicane coming up soon. Side by side, full speed. Trust in your trust in your driver on the outside. Still defensive there from Carson Keane. Mackenzie Rune.
Side by side through Blanchimont there, bro. They both had to really check up there. And unfortunately, Rune lifted a little bit harder, I think, and Keene kept the momentum on the outside. But this battle is not over yet, Biggles. They're going to go through La Source, and Keene's going to have a massive slipstream up toward Lacombe. If he can stay
Right
on the rear
board.
wing through a Rouge, here we go. Keane's got me. He's almost there now to go through a Rouge, but he's going to stay back, kind of lift the throttle a little bit, stay right behind. Don't want to make it too early. Make it too early, you might lose the spot back. As you see, Keane's going to go defensive on the right side. Rouge's going to take the left side. They're side by side down the Kemmel straight, all the way down. I don't think Keane's going to concede again. He can't quite get the move done, can he? They're side by side again. So close. He just can't seem to, Rune just can't see. He's going to have the big run out of Lacombe. That might do it right there. And it does.
Wow.
What a move. What a pass through outside of Lacombe. Just kept his foot in it through the exit. Takes a lot of commitment, a lot of courage to make a move like that. Rune getting the job done. Keane down to P3. And I wonder, are we starting to see some of the effects of the tires from Keane, perhaps?
I'd say
Maybe
so.
not able to stay in it.
Yeah.
Nice battle back here between Dutton and Zyke again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if at the moment Zyke is going to be sitting there. I need to get past both those guys. You can see a little bit of a lockup from both of the teammates clearly there. So are the teammates going to be working? Well, no, they are racing each other. You saw that. But how much are they going to be trying to hold off Mr. New York himself there? Anthony Zink is going to be sitting here. He's going to be like, all right, I need to find a way. I mean, sometimes those battles themselves, as you can see, can slow you down. It brings the other drivers into play, which it has. They still have to make pit stops themselves. Carson Keane isn't giving up on that one too, partner, because here he is. He wants that back. He says, no, Rune.
Oh, no.
Anything
These
you
two
can
are
do,
gonna
I
go.
can try to do better. Let's have a look. It's Battle of the Northern Americans. It's Canada versus United States. It's Mackenzie Rune versus Carson Keane on lap 15 of 21.
Oh, no. Rune went wide. Rune missed the chicane, but Keane got a bad exit. They're still going. I think Rune went really deep there on the chicane. Missed it a little bit. Had to concede, let Keane go through. So now, are we going to swap it again? Up at the top of the hill as we head down the run again, down toward Eau Rouge. I think, I don't know if Rune's going to be close enough this time, but yeah, Rune just went really deep in the chicane right there. Had to back out of it. So Canada gets the nod for now as Rune's going to try to claw his way back. Meanwhile, Whitfield's up to P6, by the way, after making that pit stop. So you got a couple more pit stops in. Dutton coming in, Zyke coming in. Third driver in the pits as well. I might have missed who that was coming out. Looks like it may have been. It was Kiko. It was Kiko.
She's
Yeah.
out now. In fact, we should go back out, clear track, so that'll be good for her to get on with it. It's going to be interesting, these two coming in a pit road. I don't know if it was actually Zink that took a little bit longer. It was about a second longer at his pit stop than it was Joel up the road. And more than anything, here comes Peter. Peter still remain into that place. Yes, he will. Peter's yet to make a pit stop, but for the Norwegian driver, so Scandinavian driver he's actually driving under. So any one of those beautiful Scandinavian countries, Peter Veving is a representative of. And still the battles are blurring between Carson Keane and Mackenzie Rune, which you expected them to come in soon. Mr. Holland, well, 11 seconds up the road. He can kind of just do whatever strategy he wants, can't he?
Probably having a tea, or he's an American. He's probably having a beer, hanging out, drinking on the straight. Say, you know what? I'll get there eventually, boys. Come find me after the race. I'll be good to go. No, there's no kidding. Holland obviously pulling away, having a commanding lead, continuing to pull out time lap after lap. But it doesn't help that Keane and Rune are battling here, so you're watching that interval continue to grow. I don't think Keane's close. I don't think Rune's close enough to make a move on Keane this time by. Those drivers got to get a little bit closer together for the action gets spicy. But I wonder when the pit stops are going to happen. I'm working lap 15 to 21. You got about 6-7 laps to go. It's going to be getting close here, Biggles. These two are going to battle, I think, all the way to the end here.
Well, it's going to be to see how Mod can go on this one. We know Mod Kiko, she's in P8. She's had a pit stop done. We also have Mr. Duden has had his pit stop there, and Zyke has made his pit stop. So the rest of the field have yet to box. Daniel's looking pretty strong. Now, just trying to keep an eye on Daniel Whitfield's time.
I think he will come out ahead of these two.
12:16, so his last lap has been very, very competitive. Now, only the top 3 drivers in the 11s in the last lap. So for the rest of the field, you have to say Daniel's been putting in some good lap times. So
yeah, I think he's got a really good shot here, Biggles, of coming out in front of these two, or at least right on top of them. Because when he pitted and did the undercut strategy, he was about a second behind. I think it was Rune at the time. But he, obviously these two have been battling, running off track. slowing each other up. Meanwhile, Whitfield's been back there in clean air, just clicking off laps. So I'm wondering how this is going to shake out after the pit stop.
I think we've had a crash as well too. Yep,
saw something happen to Holland there.
Replay also.
Oh, it was David.
No,
this is
David.
Clappy. So what happened? He goes into the chicane. Oh, he went for the pit road.
No,
yes.
that's the pit road. Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happens sometimes with the telemetry information. If they slow down too much, basically the software says, well, that's a crash. But Brian did make a mistake here. He's gone out into that's probably the mistake. That's what it's counted
Got
as.
the left wheels off in the gravel there. You got to be careful with that gravel now, Biggles. They changed the physics on that stuff. It's a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. It will slow you down. Good news, it'll slow you down before you hit the wall. Bad news, it'll also slow you down when you kind of get two wheels off of it when you run wide like that. So, new grass physics, sand physics in iRacing. So it makes driving road courses a lot more realistic. You can actually get a little more grip in the grass. And the gravel traps, again, slow you down. Of course, we're running still the old Spa scan from about 10 years ago, and they don't have the gravel trap outside of Puhan and outside of some other places where they've actually, in the real world, reinstalled it just to keep the guys from using all that pavement on the exit, to keep it.
I don't know why they don't scan it recently as well, too. Just get your little Google.
Here we go.
As Mackenzie Runes goes to enter the undercut with the rest of the field. So we'll see how that pans out. So David set the fastest lap on that last lap.
Let's see where David is. Where's David? Yeah. Okay, so when Rune comes out, this is going to be pretty close here, I think. So where's Whitfield on the track? Whitfield, he's coming
Whitfield's
up to...
currently here.
Oh, he's got the overtake done.
For sure.
So let's see. Yeah, he's already going to get past... Well, no, Rune's coming out. Where's Rune? Rune did keep the position. I'm sorry, I forgot the pit lane here at Spa.
There's Rune.
Kind of shortcuts that entire La Source complex. So Dan Whitfield here was not able to close the gap like I anticipated, but so I guess Keane would come out about the same spot as Rune.
Yeah.
And
that's going to be interesting to see what sort of laps you can put in at the moment. But that's the thing, Carson Keane put it in an 11.44 in the last lap. So Carson Keane's just hammering it away here, trying to cover that undercut off. So the Canadian driver, if he continues his pace, should be fine. David set an even faster lap. He's the only man in the 2:10 club on the last lap, just in a league of his own. As long as he doesn't mess up or his pit stop up, then he should be absolutely fine to take this race win with 5 laps to go, and they'll do that little short splash and dash essentially towards the end. I don't think they're going to take tires on Pun. That's just a quick stop in and out.
Yeah, it makes sense. Carson's clicking off personal best sectors here. To your point, he's trying to keep the gap. When he makes his pit stops, he comes out ahead of Rune to keep that P2 position secure here. Continuing to throw that Formula 3 car around this track. I would expect him to come in. I mean, I don't know. I guess you don't have to come in this lap. There's no real reason.
There he comes.
That you have to. The race leader's in. Looks like he made the entry into the pit lane without hitting anything. So, kudos to that. Does Keane follow? Let's see. Yeah, Keane's coming in behind. So, we're going to have a race for P2 here coming out of the pits here, Biggles. And I think it's going to be between Keane and Rune. Whitfield 3 seconds back here. He's not really part of this race at this moment. Not saying he can't be, because if these two come out and go side by side, any little incident puts Whitfield back in the picture here. So here comes Rune through the final chicane. Meanwhile, up ahead, Holland's making his pit exit. Where is Keane? Let's see. We got the overhead shot. Keane is already... there he is, going through the final complex. It's going to be Keane. Looks like easily going to keep the position here. Oh, did it by a long mile, too. Wow. Keane did a great job there, clicking off the laps, secured the gap. And now we've got about 3 laps to go, and I think you got your order here that you are going to run to the end. Well, Long hasn't pitted yet, right? Ridgeway hasn't pitted, your new race leader. Both of them are going to have to stop, but your de facto race leader is going to be Holland, and I think it's going to be Keane and Rune.
Yep, it looks like Keane, exactly. You've got Brian makes the pit stop. Robert, that's up the road there, needs to make a pit stop. It's more importantly for them if they can cover off the likes of Daniel here, Mackenzie Rune, which they should be able to. And then Mackenzie there and Daniel. Mod has made her way up into P7. So all that battling was going on, although she did lose out.
She may get she may get P5 after the first 2 pit too.
Yes, that's
the
true.
way she's going. So she might be looking for a top 5 finish here. Good run for Mod. Started started P8, I think. So might get a few positions here on the grid. We'll see after these last pit stops how everybody cycles out. Yeah, big winners and losers though. I think. I mean, the big winner so far is going to be maybe Dutton down in P9, who started plumb last. But he's worked his way up to P9. He's already made his pit stop. Probably get another spot or 2 after the pit stops come through. Biggest losers of the race, though, so far, it's got to be the guys in the first lap incident, right? It's going to be Hedvig and Jaeger there. Is it Jaeger or Jagger?
Yeah, Jagger, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Peter
Well,
at the moment, yeah.
Let me know in the chat.
Pete's
Apologies
still
if I
down
say
at
it
the
wrong.
moment, too, because he's looking to get an overtake done on Guy just up the road, but yet he's got to still make a pit stop. And so Ridgway will now go into pit road to take his mandatory pit stop. And so will Brian.
So there's Long too. So that should cycle everybody through. What I want to see is how far does Whitfield go to P4? Does Kiko go to P5? That's going to be about the point where these drivers come out, I think.
Well, here comes Daniel.
There's Daniel. So there's
you can see
Kiko
the
back further
pit
behind,
road,
and there's the
Kiko.
car. There's the cars coming out of pit lane. So Ridgway and Kiko here might be pretty close.
There's Robert.
Kiko goes through, so Ridgway is going to cycle into P5 solid, and right on the rear bumper, actually, of Whitfield.
Damn.
That was a good stop right there. So Kiko's going to slot into P6, and now this is your race to the finish with 3 laps to go. So can Whitfield hold off Ridgway? That's going to be the race for the P4 position.
Yep, with just basically 3 laps to go. And the birthday boy has to hold off this one. You know, he has the fan club, of course. The whole Whitfield family is usually out here. I mean, even the dog, the family pet comes on and watches this one.
That's so cool to see.
Every once in a while.
I'm sure he loves the support. You know, it's fun to watch support. Us fellow competitors, fellow fans. A little bit of a lockup there from Ridgway trying to run down Whitfield here. But it's always cool to see the support of the family. A lot of the racers in sim racing, it's kind of a hobbyist sport, you know, and there's so many cases where the spouses kind of look down their nose at what we're doing sometimes. But you know what? It's fun. It's a hobbies. I love seeing families encourage each other, and it's good for
I've seen
everyone
your
all
son
around.
race before in your racing rig, mate.
He did. He did a race for me one time. We did a powder puff race. I think you actually called that race, Biggles.
He got in there and he kicked butt as well too.
He sure did. He won that race.
And he said, "My dad doesn't let me use his racing rig very often." Oh, imagine if
you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. No, he can do it whatever he wants, but he's a good kid. He's actually asked me the other day, when are we going to do the next one? I said, well, probably soon. So, but yeah, it's fun to see families get involved. It's obviously, you know, hobbies are hobbies, and sometimes they can be either isolationist or they can be, you know, collaborative with other people. So it is fun to see the family. Well, we appreciate you guys being here and supporting your driver on his birthday. Let him get the top 4 finish, give him a nice dinner, and celebrate the success of another spin around the sun, man.
It's Sunday roast, yeah. Another lap around the sun, yeah, and well, Saturday, but a Sunday roast dinner. Robert's going to put pressure right now on Dad, and I'm sorry, Robert, as much as I love you as a racing driver, the Illinois driver, on Daniel on his birthday, you can't deny him the P4. But Robert, he's got the little Lego figurine on the side end plate there, as you can see, with the wink. Well, we all love Lego. So as Andy goes in pit stop, for the last person to take the pit road down and lose that position to Mr. Joel Dudley.
I think Robert's got a run here, Biggles. He's got a big run. He's going to look to the left side. We've seen this move try to take from Kiko quite a few times and wasn't able to get done because you get out in that open air, it just seems to throw a wall in the car and slow him down. I don't think Whitfield's going to give it up here.
No,
they're
he's
going to go
not.
side by side. Oh man, that was close. But Ridgway threw the car in, committed to the line. Whitfield had to concede. Now can Whitfield fight back? Can he take the move back to Ridgway as we head through the Brussels hairpin? 2 laps to go. If you're going to get it done, you got to do it now. That's the line. That's the line you want to take. Kind of run out wide there in the middle. Get the run back down. Keep the speed through the no-name corner. Run as wide as you want. No one cares. Take the track. Do what you got to do. But, oh man, Ridgway is slowly pulling away. Don't let him get away, Daniel. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep that nose in there.
Push one of those buttons to the right-hand side that says Family Boost. That's it. You can see that red button.
Family Boost.
That's a Family Boost button there, Dan. That's what
Get
he
that
needs.
Hellman's car up there.
Yeah.
Keep fighting. He's working that car as hard as he can, but Ridgeway's just got so much speed through the middle of the corner, and you just can't close up. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it now, Dan. You got one more lap to get it done. Don't let him drive away.
Carson Skins says he's gone off the track there for about a second. That's just an off-track excursion. But I'm just curious.
So what happened to Holland?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You great minds think alike as he gets a power slide out of the corner, probably pushing for the fastest lap. This will be the fastest lap. But where did that 11-second gap go? I don't see anything on my telemetry or race information that says he's gone off track for a ton of time.
Did
so
he do a donut for the fans or something? Did we just
maybe he pulled off
it?
to the side there and signed some autographs exactly when we weren't looking.
I don't see anything on his lap times. It looks like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just, maybe needed to open another beer or something and have a good time. I don't know. But anyway, he continues on his way. Meanwhile, further back, it's going to be Zyke and Kalu. We're going to battle it up to the chicane, back for the P9 position.
Oh, make it stop in time, of course, as you go through the bus stop.
Man.
That's why it's called the bus stop. You can check in maybe and never check out. But he does. He's going to definitely make a run through up to La Source for the last time.
They're side by side. He got a good run out of that chicane there, but can he get the move done through La Source to start the white flag? It's going to be Zyke on the outside. He's going to back up, try the old over-under. Oh, I think he's got it here, Biggles. He's got a good run.
I think so. I think
Hello went a little bit wide there, and there's nothing you can do to respond except get in that slipstream, run it up the hill, and try to make a run up La Source. Meanwhile, I think Ridgeway is pulled away from Whitfield up in P4 and P5. But look at this battle here. Kalu's going to make the run up the Camel Straight side by side. They're going to run all the way up. He's going to squeeze him a little bit. Can he make the move stick on the outside? I don't think he got it. Come on, Zach, send it in there. Send it in there. Don't let him take it. There he does. Late on the breaker. Send it in. That's how you do it. Don't give up the position on the last lap.
That's probably it, isn't it? I'd say, because now, as long as you keep it on track, you've got it done. And this man has it done, because here he is right now. I need just basically another, well, I'd say 3 and change kilometers to go. And you're going to see the checkered flag. But what happened to that massive gap? It was about 11 seconds of pit stops.
We got to ask him about that in the
post-race
show.
He made a slow pit stop. I'm actually looking at a 7-point-something seconds. And the average pit stop was about 4.
Get his fastest lap, but he's got the speed, he's got the time, he's got the position, and he's got win number 5, Simpleton Racing Series F3. David Holland is going to take the win at Spa-Francorchamps and continue his dominating championship performance. P2 is going to go to Carson Keene. The Canadian driver will get the best of Mackenzie Roon, who's going to take the final podium spots. As Ridgeway is doing a little wiggle for the fans, and then birthday boy David Whitfield's going to take P5. Good top 5 finish for him after starting starting P2, so that was a drop for him. But P5 is P5 regardless. Further back, got a nice battle here between Kalu and Zach. They're still running they're still running nose to tail here, coming up to the chicane. I don't think Zyke's going to be able to get there, or Kalu's going to be able to get Zyke there. Unless something happens out of the chicane, which it does not, they're going to settle in, finish the race as they stand. Yeah, what a great race here from the Sim Racing for Simpletons League. This F3 is a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, the cars are a blast to drive. Here comes Hedvig. He obviously had a bad first corner there. Unfortunately, locked the wheels, drove into the side of Jaeger there. But hey, he'll finish the race. Get the P12, and last but not least, the Californian David Claffey, here for fun, having a great time. He's going to bring that car home, which is obviously the fun and the challenge of a long race like this. Just get the car to the end, get the finish, get that number 2 machine across the line, and he does. So there you have it, Biggles. Spa-Francorchamps in the books.
Absolutely is, and there's your race results up for you. So Mr. Holland does it again. If you'd like to go through the rest, please.
David Holland, yeah, your winner. Continues his dominance. Carson Keene, P2. Mackenzie Ream, P3. Robert Ridgeway, P4. Daniel Whitfield takes that P5 spot. Mod Kinko don't take P6. Brian Long, P7. Joel Dutton, P8. Anthony Zyke, P9. Kai Galoo, P10. Anthony Yeager, P10. Peter Hedvig, P12. David Claffey, 13th. And with the DNF, it's going to be Dominique Anchelico. I can't say that. I apologize. Dominique, but you got P14. And that is going to wrap us up from the Sim Race Simpleton. Let me see if anybody's in the broadcast room wants to have a chat with us here.
We do have a couple.
Let's bring in, let's start with the P3 driver, maybe work our way up from there.
Absolutely.
So here is that number 3 driver, Mackenzie Roon, able to bring it home P3. Nice battle there with Carson throughout the race, Mackenzie. To take us through your spot race tonight.
Yeah, thanks. First, congrats to David on the win. Great job, Carson. I just have to give so much respect to Carson. His respect on track just made it so fun to race side by side. It allowed for switchbacks. That was just so much fun. Unfortunately, I forgot my tires were pretty much melted and overshot my pit stop by a few feet. I was hoping to, maybe get the undercut slightly, get right back behind him, but it didn't work out. But great race all around. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, man, yeah, that was going to be my question about the pit stop. We didn't see what happened there, but I saw the gap after the pit stop. We were wondering. But, yeah, you made a good point with the racing there with Carson. I mean, we saw, especially going up into Lacombe, so many times you two were side by side, and it seemed like it was clean racing all around. You guys really showed each other a lot of respect. But it's for whatever reason, when you two got side by side, it just seemed like that outside lane just couldn't seem to close the deal into Lacombe unless someone really threw it in there. But was that the spot on the track? Was that the location you really had to make a move if you were going to make one?
I don't know that I had a particular strategy. Every corner seemed a little bit different, so I was trying to, base my movements off of maybe mistakes that I forced Carson into. I got a switchback on him once that was kind of unplanned. So really, it was just kind of off the top there. No plans really.
Oh, very good, very good. So, hey, anybody you want to give a shout out to today?
Hey, just my two Irish Wolfhounds, Ellie and Pippa. Sure, they're watching.
We thank Ellie and Pippa for the support. Good dogs get a good treat. So, Mackenzie, great run. We'll see you next week, all right?
Thanks, guys.
So that was Mackenzie Roon, P3. Let's get our P2 driver in here. It's going to be Carson Keene finishing P2 with a big battle throughout the race. Had a nice recovery drive after the one incident where did you miss the chicane, Carson? We missed that earlier in the race that dropped you back. What happened there in the lap 3 or 4 spot?
Oh, I was admiring Mackenzie's livery and totally missed the breaking point. So just shot right through it.
Yeah, that happens. You guys had a big battle up the hill there that lap. We saw you both go pretty defensive and go wide out to the left side, but you were able to get the move done. Looks like you had a great pit stop and able to keep the gap there over Mackenzie, who had a little bit of trouble there in the pits. But other than that, it seemed like you were throwing that car throwing the car around quite a bit, having a good time. And walk us through your spot race.
Oh, that was you hit the nail on the head. I was having a ton of fun racing Mackenzie. Really tried to stay as close to David as I could with his slipstream and just gonna make it. So I was fighting pretty hard for P2, but I was smiling the whole time and smiling and sweating with Mackenzie. It was a ton of fun today.
Very good. It was a great job getting P2. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just you guys, broadcasters, Brian for organizing the league, and everybody in the community. I think it's an awesome community we're building here, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the great race. Lots of great race between you and Mackenzie. We appreciate the show, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
That was Carson Keene, your P2 finisher. That leaves one person left to talk to. It's your championship leader, his 5th win of the season here at Spa. David Holland, how is it going?
Hey, pretty good, guys. Just a little sweaty, but yeah, that was a good race. A little bit more inconsistent than I would have liked, but still managed to bring it home, even after almost throwing it away there during the pit stop.
Yeah, we were wondering what happened. We saw the gap. You made the pit stop. You were kind of running the race on your own there, just clicking off laps, building the gap. And then we looked up, and we were watching the battle for P2. We kind of looked up and like, what happened to David's gap? We don't know. So what happened there in the pit stop?
Yeah, I haven't run here in a while, and I was just cruising down pit lane, and I noticed that the pit stalls were marked, so I stopped based on the markers and not necessarily where the guy was with the sign. And it took me a little while to realize that, and finally the sign or the message popped up saying you were too far back, and I was like, oh my god. So then I had to pull forward like 5 feet, but yeah, still managed to make it work, but definitely got me sweating there a little bit towards the end.
Well, it was a commanding performance. So say win number 5 of the season. You're continuing to show your dominance in these F3 cars. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Carson and Mackenzie as well. You know, they always kind of put the pressure on, and they were quick today as well. So congrats to them finishing out the podium. Also to my team, Delta Sport, you guys for the great broadcast, and Brian for organizing the league. Thanks, y'all.
All right, thanks. Congrats again on the win. We'll see you next week.
See you.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the moment the replay exactly what he's saying about his pit stop entrance here. So we'll have a look at that in a second while we bring in. Well, first of all, we'll bring both in. We'll bring both Mod and the birthday boy actually in here at the moment. Sorry, I have a lot of stuff going on in my head here.
Okay,
so
I'll bring him in real quick. Let's see.
We'll bring in Daniel, the birthday boy.
Yep.
Bring in Mod as well as we watch the replay here of what happened to the leader in the pits. And
locks it up.
Yeah, just didn't. No, it looks fine to me, but he told us he missed it, so we'll see. But meanwhile, happy birthday there, Daniel.
Oh, thank you very much. Someone's been talking to you, haven't they? Someone's put something in the chat.
We've heard a rumor. It was an exciting race where you started P2, but it finished P5. So I mean, lots of big battles. I mean, tell us about your race.
I don't know what happens to my pace. Like during practice, right? I was doing low 111s, and then qualifying, I was like 111.8. It was my only clean lap, so I thought, okay, that's going to get me about P5 or P4. And it got me P2, and I was well surprised. And then I couldn't get out of the 112s. I just don't know what happened. But it was a great race. So far, this season has been horrible for me. Absolutely awful. But it was nice to have a nice race where I didn't spin, and it was good. I got to the end. I was 1 instant point away from the drive-through, though, so it wasn't entirely clean.
Puts the extra pressure on. That's what keeps you guys sharp, keeps you on your marks. We saw the gradual drop off, and I mean, I was hoping the pit stop, with you taking the early pit stop, doing the undercut there, maybe you get a little bit of a run, because there was a big battle up for P2 and P3. They were losing time, but it just still didn't quite seem to be enough as they came out in front of you.
I don't know why. I think I got one lap in. It was a 111.8, and it was invalidated lap, and I couldn't do it again. I just couldn't. I don't know why. I don't know what happens. It's just. I don't know.
You'll take that one back to the debrief room, talk to the team, figure out what happened there. But happy birthday, man! And anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just my family. They always watch. My mum, my sister, my nephew, my auntie, my wife. Thanks so much for watching me and supporting me. I love you guys. And my dad. It's brilliant. Thank you. And you guys. Cheers for doing this every week.
Yeah, we thank you guys for putting on a good show. It's always good to see the family support. So congratulations again on the P5. Probably not as high as you wanted to do, but P5 is a P5. I'm sure you'll take it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week, brother.
All right. See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
And that leaves Mod. Hey, Mod, how's it going?
Hello. How's it going?
Very good. Very good. Exciting race watching you battle with, I think it was it Brian Long you're battling with there a little bit, and some other drivers, especially lots of runs up the Camel Straight up to Lacombe where you two were side by side. It seemed like that was a hard move to get done for you for some reason, maybe on the outside. And were you backing off to keep fighting, or was it just a matter of not having the right car in the right spot?
It's a bit of everything, really. I think towards the end, I just stayed behind because I realized we were just draft locked. We were just passing each other and costing each other time by the time we got into Lacombe. So I figure I'd wait for, keep the pressure on, see if I can, force a mistake or, keep him looking in the mirrors and overshoot a braking point, something, some edge to find. Obviously that didn't, there was a couple of mistakes, but I think we both made them, so I couldn't really capitalize. So I thought, well, as he got closer to me after one mistake, I thought, well, I'm not going to give him draft all the way up Camel Straight this time, so I'll go into the pits. We'll roll the dice and see. Maybe he makes a mistake in the pits. Maybe I get a good, a bit of draft on my outlaps, and that can break the toe. And well, it looked like that worked out for me. But it was fantastic racing though today.
It really was. You guys put on a great show, and I think if I remember correctly, you were chasing down Brian Long at one point. Maybe Brian made a mistake into the chicane, I think, or maybe I'm getting crossed up with somebody else. But in any case, you were able to secure that spot, that P6 in the end, and have a good run. Worked way up 2 positions from the start. How was the start from your perspective? I saw there was an incident right in front of you heading into the source.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. You do open wheels at Spa often enough, and you basically go into La Source expecting someone on the inside to do exactly that. So if you don't anticipate it, you get caught up in it. But if you do anticipate it, you may lose positions if it doesn't happen. But I always find a bit of a safer bet just to give yourself a little bit of leeway on grip in case you need it to evasive maneuver, and well, that paid off. And I think I was about 3 inches away from my end of my race, and that was when I think Brian snuck through on the inside and managed to get up ahead. It took a while to catch back up with him after that.
Yeah, it's a fun track to watch. Obviously, we and Biggles talking about the fact, these cars don't have DRS. You got to do it the old-fashioned way with the slipstreams. And there were so many instances where we saw overtakes into La Source and then another overtake opposite going into Lacombe. So you got slipstream up the straightaway. So anyway, great run from you, solid finish, very entertaining race to watch. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I think it's only fair to give a shout out to Daniel, who's managed to, have a birthday. That's always good fun. I didn't know until just now. So, yeah, happy birthday, Daniel. And, of course, shout out to Brian for a good, clean race. It was mega.
Very good, very good. Well, congratulations again. Another race in the books, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Take care. See you next week.
Excellent, and that was all because of Shayla out there in the Whitfield family that has announced that one. So she's let everybody know out there that Dan the man had a birthday. So absolutely happy birthday to Daniel, and congratulations to Mr. David for another race win, Mr. Carson Keane to take that P2, and Mackenzie Roon. They were having some fantastic battles along with the other drivers. So, well, Chris, this is your first time experiencing this fantastic league. Any afterthoughts?
It looks like a lot of fun. It really does. I actually want to try it. I'm going to go race with these guys.
You can sign up, partner.
I might have to go find the link. I got to get the link and check this out. Looks like I'm usually not a huge downforce guy. I like to run the cars that are heavy and slow and slide around a lot, but this looked like a lot of fun. So kudos to these guys putting on a good show. And I look forward to the next one.
And that's it from the JP Broadcasting Network. More racing always on this channel every single day of the week. So stay safe and take care. And good night. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.